Welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica. Along with me, we have Mac Wade, Executive Director with the Port of Morgan City. Oh man, it seems like it's been such a long time. Happy New Year to you.
It's been a year.
Yeah, it feels like that. And then it feels even longer because I really want to start off like right at it. How's the rebound since Francine?
Last time I was in here, probably had tears in my eyes because it was so bad. We lost our channel. In fact, I think I even showed you a diagram last time. On September the 10th, I had a 24-foot channel, 400 foot wide, all the way out, all the way from Morgan City, all the way out. We were in great shape. September 11th, Hurricane Francine comes in. The next morning, we lost 10 foot of draft in the channel, impossible. But the storm was that bad.
Yes, Francine really packed a punch.
It packed a huge punch.
yeah.
People said, well, it didn't 150, but it's when it stalled out along the coast, it was like being in a washing machine. It just sat there.
Yes.
I mean, the bar channel people may not understand, but when you get down to about Eugene Island, you're in the Gulf, and it's, and everything out there is only about 10 foot. We have a 20-foot hole basically cut right down the middle of it, 400 foot wide. And that thing sat there and just kept churning and bringing all the material in. All the material and
I want
filled
folks
it
to
in.
understand just how long, again, this has been, I say, a labor of love for a long time. The authorized depth is 20. We were at 24.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've been following Port for a long time, and we would hear numbers like, "Yeah, we're at 16."
That was a good day.
Yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
We're at 15.
Yeah.
To get to 24 and to have the monies to do it, because at one time, I'm gonna tell you, when you said we had about four dredges going on at one time, I said, "Wait a minute, who did you have to kill to get that?"
Yeah, exactly.
So to be silted up that much, to take in 10 feet. Now, where are we?
Danica, we are at 24 foot today.
Come on.
To the sea buoy.
Okay.
And it has, like you're saying, this has been going on. If we would, I got 3 dredges running right now. We've been up to 4. In the old days, Danica, if we had one coming in a year, we were lucky.
Right. Yep.
We just didn't have any funding. We've been very fortunate, very blessed. We've had a very good delegation to work with. And the Corps of Engineers has had our back.
Now, you don't hear that very much.
No,
just to
the
be
Corps of
perfectly
Engineers
honest.
has had our back.
So, question for you: how many months did it take for that? When did you?
Okay.
When did we get back to that?
We
authorized
got back
depth?
about the end of the year, late December. The dredges were finishing up.
So from September to December.
Yes.
Again, even that is amazing because typically I've heard 6 months or better. Typically is when you get silted up that much, and in order for it to open back up, get the monies that you need to be able to do it. It would take a lot longer. So let me ask you something about money. Where did this money come from?
Okay, we were very fortunate. The Corps said it's going to take about $30 million. The port, we don't actually get the money, but it was in our name, in our account. We had $30 million. So the Corps basically, and that was for other upcoming dredging projects. So the Corps, we had no choice. We got to get the channel open because not only losing the channel, what was bad, the United States Coast Guard comes out with an MSIB. It's a Material Information Safety Bulletin. And it tells you Morgan City's basically out of business. They weren't going to open my channel at all. We had calls with them. I said, well, wait a minute. Well, Mac, you don't have your 20 by 400. I said, you're telling me, and we're showing we got 13 foot. 13 is better than 0. You got me at 0. If you leave me at 0, we're dead. You have wiped us off the map. Nobody will ever come in here and everybody's going to leave. Send out the MSIB at 13 foot. And they did. I was not happy, but we had to because we were filled in everywhere.
Even that's pretty limited.
That's very limited. It's terrible. We got stuff going out at 15, 16, 17 foot. Well, how are you getting out at 13? You're not. Plus, Danica, when I was here last time, and we showed you the survey drawings, the big humps there. 8 million yards fell in this hole that we had.
So the monies you already had, Did it take away from anything?
Yes, it took away from my future projects we were going to
Okay.
do, but we're okay with that. The main thing, I had to get the channel back open for all our fabrication businesses going on.
Okay.
So we were able to get the money. They took the money. The problem was the Mississippi River was having problems at the same time. All the dredges were on the Mississippi River. I had one. You need 3 or 4.
So now here we are today, and we're up to
20. We got 24 foot.
awesome. All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about those fabrication yards. We can come back. Come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Let's get right back into it. All things port and also all things money. So you started saying that we got the dredges coming from the Mississippi River.
Yes.
How did you get that to happen? Because you don't mess with Baton Rouge or Mississippi River, and you don't mess with New Orleans. Nothing comes before them. How did you get those dredges to be pulled from that area?
We were very fortunate. The Mississippi River was having low water, and they had it's like last year. Remember, they were worried about water down the river.
And the
People didn't have
saltwater
a saltwater
intrusion.
intrusion coming up. All the dredges were over there working. They were making headway. They had the seal finished, and then they had the 2 dredges sitting there, because that was the only place where the dredges were. I had 1 dredge working. So, and they knew that would take us a year if we only had 1 dredge, maybe 2 years. So they brought in 2 more dredges. They brought in a hopper dredge, and they brought in a big cutter head dredge, the Captain Frank. And the Captain Frank's a beast. That dredge was moving, 125,000 yards a day. Got to remember, we had 8 million yards we had to dig out.
Now, the Captain Frank is in the Berg Bay, right?
It's currently on Front Street right now.
Okay.
It is currently on Front Street.
So if you live in Morgan City or pass through Morgan City, and I know I've seen it before. You just look over on the riverside.
Look over the bridge. Yep.
And you see that big old dredge that's out there.
Yep. He's working there right now. He stayed down there for about 4 months, getting us cleaned out. But we were very fortunate. The Corps was able to slide 2 dredges off the project over there and send them to us. And they always said, if something happens on the Mississippi, we got to jerk them.
That's right.
But
now, just to be perfectly honest, they didn't just do it out the kindness of their heart. We had the money.
we had the money. We had the $30 million that we had already allocated from Congress, our delegation. So if we would not have had that money, we would still be sitting here with no channel. Because when you put those restrictions out, that's the law. 13 foot's it, but I got 13 foot. Do you understand?
Now, as said, let's move into, I want to talk about how this may have even impacted our shipyards.
Yes.
Because I do know we were doing great with military customers.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Navy. Who are some of the other ones? I know Navy was big out there.
You have the Defense Department. You got Bollinger doing dry docks, and you have a lot of federal government projects going on. A lot of federal government projects going on. We had 2 sellouts that were coming up right after that storm. We were very concerned because they only had 13-foot restriction. They were going out at 15 and 16. One of the companies was able to do, they had to bring more tugs in to get the structure out, but they lightered the barge and brought it up higher so he could float over those bad spots. Thank goodness, knock on wood, they were able to lighter the barge up, and once they got out in the Gulf, they had an ocean-going tug sitting there waiting on it. They were able to, then they ballasted back down so they could go ahead and go out in the Gulf and come around and everything. So we never missed a sail out. We were nervous.
Right. Did that affect future business with those customers?
I don't think so, because we were Johnny on the spot. We were able to get them out. It wasn't that they lost the sail out and they lost the position. In fact, that was with performance.
Yes.
That's that big contract going down in Plaquemine Parish for the big LNG plant down there.
Okay. Speaking of performance, I don't, I don't work for them, but I do know folks are always looking for work, and performance is always hiring, from what I understand.
They've been hiring all our fabrication yards are, Danica. All of them are.
I understand Conrad even had a big project.
Conrad has big projects.
Okay. Right.
Not project. They got projects just like Bollinger. All the shipyards, our fabrication yards are busy. up and down the waterfront. There's two of the companies in our area. They build these big suction piles. I mean, you could drive an 18-wheeler through these things. They're so big and they're long. That's going out, going overseas and everything. Those are sellouts. All these things take a lot of water. That's why it was so important to get this channel open as quickly as humanly possible.
Now, speaking of which, I think you guys, if you've ever been watching this show with Mac, we're going to mention the name that you should be aware of, and that's Bryce.
Bryce.
Bryce, we'll talk about them when we come on back. Come on right back to the Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back. Let's get right back into it. We were talking about just how well, seemingly, a lot of our fabrication yards are doing. Doesn't seem like anybody missed the beat with 13 feet to maneuver. So companies like Bollinger, Performance, Conrad, and you said projects. Now I was aware of definitely one major project that had been completed, but they're still working on more.
Exactly. Danica, they've got their backlog. That's what you look at, the backlog they have. They've all got backlogs, which is a good thing. They excuse me, I'm sorry. Conrad's on that Navy contract. They have 4 or 5 of these living quarter barges. I forgot the official name for them, but they've got those in different stages of construction that they're working on. And they had one of those that sailed out recently. During all this, when we had our channel, but our channel kept getting better, and the new MSIB has been issued for the channel. Basically, it states we're at the 20 foot. So, well, Mac, you said 24. The channel is authorized at 20 foot by 400 foot wide. But when they come and dredge us, they give us 2 foot variance and 2 foot maintenance, because they know it's going to fill in some, so they try to keep you around your 20. So they give you an extra 4 foot, but you really only advertise, or if you look on the records, it only shows 20 by 400. I'll take that.
Right.
I'll take that. But we worked very close with them. We stayed on top. We knew everybody who had a sail out coming up, how much water you're going to need. This is what we're going to have by then. Can you do something a little bit different? And we were able to keep we never missed a sail out. Everybody got everything out.
And right now we have at least 3 dredgers. We've got the Captain Frank.
We got the Captain Frank.
And we have another one that's on the Bayou Chene.
Okay, it's on Bayou Chene, yes. You got Bryce, that's the Arilac, which is working the barge channel. That's the one that's been here now for going on 4 years. And we got about another 4 years worth of work for it. We got here to eternity on that dredge working, because the channel's going to always be fed by the Mississippi, so we'll always have the fluff out there. So we're in good shape on our dredging. We have, like you mentioned, we have the Captain Frank in Berwick Harbor. It'll be there for maybe about a week or so before it leaves the area. That's a different contract, different budget. But since we had the dredge down there and we were finishing up, we were able to use another pot of money that we have under the MR&T to take care of it, to bring it up here for a few days. And then it'll be gone. But the Captain Frank, it was really the workhorse down there. It moved over 5 million yards of material out of that 8.
And let's talk about Bayou Chene.
Yes, Bayou Chene. And when we say the channel, that's from here from Morgan City to the Sea Buoy. That's from Bayou Chene, a crew boat cut, all the way to the Sea Buoy. The restrictions were on basically over all of that. Bayou Chene, you said, well, Mac, you talked about the barge channel, how bad it got in the storm. We got damage in Bayou Chene too. Not so much it filled in, but the channel shifted on us with all the winds moving everything. If you had water on the east side, you don't have any water. Now you're down to 10 foot. But the water was on the west side, or where you had water on the west side.
So pretty much you just had to kind of, the ships or vessels had to maneuver itself.
And maneuver, and so, but right now, we have the dredge Mike Hooks in Bayou Chene working today. It'll probably be there for the next 6 to 9 months working Bayou Chene. 2.5 years ago, we raised the Bayou Chene for the first time in 15, 20 years. And we opened it up to 300 foot. Well, Mike, you said you got 400. I know that, but we didn't have enough money to do the 400 foot. So what we did, we only raised 300. Now we're back to get that other 100 foot. When we get through with Bayou Chene, it'll be 400 by 20.
Gotcha.
We're at 20 by about 300 right now, but within the next 6 months, 9 months, we'll be back to our 400 foot.
Okay. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the expansion project.
Yes.
At the port, we know the east side completely done.
Yes.
But it's the west side I definitely want to talk about.
You're right.
As well as new delegation. Like
Yes.
we got money flowing, but will that continue?
Yes.
Y'all come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Let's get right back into it. East and the West port expansion projects. The East port is completely done. We got a little more, square footage added, and we're going to have to do a full build out for the west side.
West Dock, yes.
West Dock, and that is at the price tag of
About $35 million.
$35 million. The east side was only 18.
But the East Dock, we just finished about a $6.5 million project. That's completed.
It was only $6 million.
About 6.5 for that one expansion. Yeah, because we already had the dock and we just came in and improved it.
Now the west part is going to be total.
Yes,
we got to get
that's
a whole
totally
new.
new. Right now we have 800 foot on the waterfront. When we finish the west dock, we'll be at 1,900 foot. 1,900. We're adding 1,100 foot of new waterfront space.
They say if you build it, they will come. So
that's
are
right.
we expecting
more
customers?
Yes, we're expecting customers. We need customers. We're expecting customers. The last 3 to 4 months, what have you been doing? We haven't been chasing business over the last 3 to 4 months because we didn't have a channel. We weren't sure. You got to have a channel. Now we got something to sell. We got the channel open. They can use the East Dock. We hope to be going out for bid in about the next 3 months on the West Dock. And we'll go from 800 foot of waterfront to 1,900 foot when we finish that.
How long of a project?
Probably about a 2-year project.
Oh, wow.
It's an expensive project. The good thing about it, Danica, we've got a lot of funding from the federal government. We got MARAD money. We got $10 million from MARAD. We have $15 million from the state. We have capital outlay funds in that project.
And you never had to touch that money?
No, that money's still there.
Okay.
And a lot of people, all these, we talk millions of dollars because we deal in millions. But there's different pots of money. Under our dredging, we have MR&T budget and we have O&M budget. That's 2 federal projects, pots of money we go after for dredging. That's totally different when I go after other federal dollars for construction projects.
And they're pretty much already earmarked for that, so you can't
We've got that.
Okay.
Those are guaranteed.
Okay.
Now, the one thing about all these projects, it's taken us years. We've been sitting on this money for about the last 3 years because it takes that long because you got to go through all the permitting process and that takes forever. And we're finally at that final stage, you get our final permits in and everything. The biggest issue on when you get federal dollars, there's a lot of stipulations, but it takes some time to get the money.
Now let's switch to this because this may be our last line of questioning here. Just had an election. We've got a new president coming in.
Yes.
We even have, Congressman Clay Higgins re-elected.
Yes.
But there's also some new delegation. I know you can't necessarily predict the future, but do you think we'll still be able to keep that flow of money coming?
Yes.
We have been pretty blessed.
Yes, we have been very blessed. We have been blessed because we've had the channel. If you have a channel, you got the businesses here. These businesses are going to stay here. We have a new congressman, Cleo Fields. He's in the new district that's been set up in Louisiana. Cleo is one of our congressmen. When I'm in Clay Higgins, you're in Clay Higgins district, we're in Clay Higgins district, but when it comes to a vote, Clay votes, but they're going to ask Cleo, do you vote for this? Scalise, do you vote for this? Mike Johnson, Letlow, do you vote for this? They all vote for us. So we want their contacts. We need them.
That's right. So my question, and not
Troy
to
Carter. Troy Carter's another one of our congressmen.
but not to offer any doom and gloom, because I'm gonna tell you, we have new people. I get it.
Yes.
But do they understand? There has to be an understanding. There has
That's
to be.
right.
You have to know how the inner workings of this waterway works, because again, we know Baton Rouge, New Orleans, they always take precedence.
Oh yes, that's true.
You're talking about a person, Cleo.
That's
Baton
right.
Rouge.
That's right. That's right.
Do they know how important this waterway is? And
I
not to
say
stifle our flow.
yes because of this.
Okay.
The Corps realize how important this Port of Morgan City is to the nation's security and to the economy. We got it going on, and they're going to continue to fund that. And they're going to tell us, Mac, go ask for this. This is what we need, and they back it up.
Period. All right. See you guys next time. Take